Hey, good people, we're back, and like we were talking before, we went on break. We have the Ruffs here with us, and they're here to give us a little backstory on their love style, and also to educate us a little bit on what they call poly, and the umbrella that it is, and how wide of an umbrella this is. So, um, first, let's start with your love style. Tell us what kind of poly lifestyle you guys.
We are polyamorous. Basically, if you break the word down, polyamorous. Poly means many, and amorous means love. So that's really what it is. It's just being able to love more than one person openly.
Basically, and how we define ours is the freedom to make meaningful connections with others, whether those connections are spiritual, physical, mental, whatever the realm is that those connections happen, we have the freedom to make them. Another important aspect of our poly is the platonic side of things. Not every woman that I come across I want to lay with. Like, there are some women that I have come across that we may have had sex that can still come over to the house, and we may not have that sexual energy between us anymore. But hell, we just had somebody come over to the house the other day. She dropped by. I ended up.
She even text you. She texted me.
Yeah, she texts her, and she came by. I was out doing some things, and I came home, and she was still there, and I ended up working on her car. So, and that just happened. And that's just the type of,
I do her hair too.
Yeah, and that's just the type of relationship that we have. Like, she knows a lot of the women that I deal with, and she knows their status in my life, because like there's no hiding anything.
That's a plus.
Yeah, and that's
trust is everything. Trust is everything. And so for you guys to have that open and honest love, you know what I mean, that helps build trust.
Right.
It helps
Absolutely.
strengthen your trust.
right.
That's why I believe, like, when you say we're best friends, it's a real thing.
Yes.
You know his deepest, darkest secrets, right? In most monogamous relationships, there's things that they don't know about each other.
Right.
Because they're too afraid.
Exactly. So, because most of us as men, especially men, but women as well, have been taught to put that part of ourselves away, right? It doesn't fit in a monogamous relationship. And then women ask the question, why are y'all more loyal to y'all boys than y'all are to y'all women? That's because I can tell my boy everything. He knows everything about me. But the fact that y'all said, look, I'm going to let you be who you are. You let me be who I am. But we're going to love each other anyway. Right? And be in love anyway means that y'all can truly be best friends.
Right. And that's the part of this that I really love. We have evolved in love, as I say. From 5 years ago to today, we have changed so much about our relationship and about who we was, and who we are. It's not that we changed for the worse. We've made a lot of adjustments for the better. And y'all were saying that there's a poly umbrella. And there is, because in the beginning all we saw was polygamy. We saw seeking sister wives, and then you see the Mormons out there in Utah and how they get down with the little house on the prairie dresses, and that ain't for me. That ain't for us. So we needed to see what else was out there, and in the process of doing that, we learned what the different polys were. Like, damn, there's more than one. Like, I'm not. So whenever we get approached for an interview, I make sure that I say we're not polygamous, we're polyamorous, because there is a clear-cut difference. There is a very different, like, that's two different worlds. Like, polyamory is Earth and polygamy is goddamn Mars. You know what I'm saying? It's in the same solar system, but different planets with different climates and different things. You know what I'm saying? There's different ways of doing things. Polygamy literally means many spouses. So that's either a man with a husband and a wife or whatever, or a woman with a husband and it's just spouses. And then you have polygyny, that is many wives. So that's a man with many wives. And then you have polyandry, which is many husbands, and that's a woman with many husbands. And then polyamory, like Kiara said, means many loves. And that's really what it all boils down to, is we feel like we have the capacity to love many people and not have to not have to hide it. We don't have to walk down the aisle to prove it. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't have to do any of that. And I'm not saying that people that do that are doing it to prove anything. It's just, that's just not for us.
Right.
Exactly. And I'm glad you guys said that, because the reality of it is that this type of relationship is not for everybody.
Right.
So everybody out there who watches She Say, He Say, TL, the reality of it is we're not suggesting this for everybody.
No.
Monogamy is good for the people that it's good for.
Right.
But if you are a serial cheater, male or female,
Yes.
and you love the person you with, but you can't figure out why you can't keep it home, you may be a polygamist. You may have that in you. You may want to have that conversation. So that's why I said this lifestyle is not for everybody.
Right.
And with that being said, why did you guys choose the one that you chose? Because most people would just assume that being a man, right, polygyny would be your thing, right? But tell us why you chose your particular love style, as opposed to, man, I'm gonna hoard as many wives as I can hoard.
I think for him, I mean, I guess correct me if I'm wrong.
I will.
But you get on my damn nerves. But I think for him, he is. What I love about how he dates is he dates with intention. You can't date with intention and just be trying to hoard women.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we both are very quality over quantity. No,
You said it right.
I said it right.
Yeah.
We're quality over quantity type of people. Like, I know for me, I'll be ready to cut a nigga off quick. Like, I'm so used to how he treats me and how he spoils me and how attentive he is. So if I feel like I'm not getting that, like, you gotta go. Like, and it's not to be mean. It's just, I don't like my time being wasted.
Right.
I'm already a busy person. I don't have time to sit here and bullshit you for 8 hours a day and talk on the phone with you, and I don't really like you. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, am I right in saying
No,
that?
you're right.
Oh, okay.
You're right.
I know.
And real quick, real quick observation. Ladies, did you hear what she just said? She just said he spoils her and treats her in a specific way.
Right.
Understand, with this particular lifestyle, you cannot become complacent. It happens in a lot of monogamous relationships. You get complacent. You stop doing those little things. You stop doing some of the things that you did to get the person, because he not going nowhere.
Right.
She not going nowhere.
Yeah.
She's locked in. But because of the love style that you guys have chosen, he's probably a better husband, because there's always that that the fact that you're dealing with other men outside the home. His game is on 10.
I mean, and I'm not knocking him by saying this at all, but sometimes he does kind of. When I say he slips, it's not like he just neglected me and I ain't seen him in 4 days. Sometimes we might just, because I have a very busy schedule, he has his own thing going on, then he deals with our daughter. So sometimes he may be like, oh, we haven't been on a date in a while, we need a date night. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was all him the last date night that we had. So for me, I was kind of like, okay, we just came back from Vegas, so I wasn't really tripping. But we went to Vegas, and then I think the next week he went to Texas to see her. And so then that following weekend, he was like, we still need a date night. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like he was slipping, like he forgot, but it was kind of like okay, we've both been busy. It may not have anything to do with outside partners, but we need to spend some time together.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, exactly.
Because time management is one of those things that I'm very good at. I'm very good at my time management, but sometimes I slip. And in the beginning of any relationship, you got that NRE, that new relationship energy, where you just want to be around this new person and you just want to be in their energy and all of that. And I have to pull back sometimes because I'll get excited, like, damn, this energy is refreshing, this is what I've been looking for, blah 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 blah. And I can spend, because my partner, she's in Arizona, so that's not, also is she clear across the states, but she's also 3 time zones behind us. So when she gets off work at 4 o'clock, it's 7-8 o'clock here. So, my day is damn near gone by the time she gets off work, and she has 2 small children. So I have to make sure that home is good, make sure that my daughter is good, because she requires time for me as well. So not just my wife, but my daughter requires time. I have responsibilities at home that have to get done on a daily. You know, and then the things that I do for income that has to get done on a daily.
Definitely.
And as
Make it
far
sound like you a drug dealer. The things I do for income.
Was it kind of covert? Just like the things that I do.
well,
Right.
the things that I
That
do
shall
for
not be
income,
named.
the things that I do because I do a lot. You know what I'm saying? That to just pinpoint one thing I do. So the things that I do for income take up a lot of my time.
Right.
And then my partner being 3 time zones behind, it's like, how do I fit all of this into 24 hours?
Right.
24 hours, and then she's 3 time zones behind me, so I have to fit her in there as well. And like you said, you can get complacent, especially after that NRE wears off. Like, okay, I gotta do the same shit that I was doing in the beginning to keep this woman interested in me.
Right.
And once I start slacking off, that happens. I have to be able to be like, damn, okay, I'm slipping, I'm slacking off.
Right.
But at the same time, I gotta make sure that shit at home is straight.
Right.
Exactly. So
And
go
that's
ahead.
a big thing, you know. A lot of the times when we have these discussions, you know, everybody wants to say, oh, well, you know, everybody doesn't, you know, that's not for everybody. Yes, you're right. It's not for everybody, because that person that wants to sit at home and literally just sit on his, you know, and play video games and do nothing, and you're not contributing to the household, you're not contributing to your partner plus whomever you're trying to bring in, yeah, you're not really, this ain't your lifestyle.
Right.
This isn't for you. So to hear you say, you know what I mean, I make sure home is great, and everything else falls in order after that. You know what I mean? It's dope.
Right.
And
this real quick, I'm gonna let you have it, but we can say ass. We can say ass.
I was finna ask if I was cussing too much.
You're 100%
I was finna
fine.
ask if I was cussing
You
too
can
much.
say
All the
ass.
time. If y'all have caught any of our podcasts, I do it all the time. Some days I'll let it go, I let it fly, but some days I catch myself like,
Okay.
That is
you're
too
good.
funny.
You're good. So we can say ass. You
know
guys
who
have
he
been
reminds
good.
me of?
Cussing is
Dad,
my
Alex.
first language, so cussing is my first language.
Me too, man. So the day they called me and told me my 8-year-old let one go at school,
Oh,
I couldn't get mad.
yep, that's him.
Yeah, I don't
Just
get
was like,
mad.
what did she say? Oh, that one.
yeah, you gotta watch
Good job.
watch that.
Yeah,
Watch
she
that.
goes to a little Catholic school on top of that, yeah, so it didn't go over well.
Yeah.
Didn't go well. Okay, but anyway, I digress. So here's the question. Here's one of the biggest questions that a lot of people ask. They want to know, for the people who, okay, I may be interested in the lifestyle, but what will my family think? I was raised to be a certain way, and I can't let Big Mama know.
Right.
I can't let Auntie Susie them know, right? I want to live this way. I'm interested
my
in trying to
children
live this
know.
way. Or my children know, right? Because a lot of people we polled said they would do it, but they wouldn't
don't
want their children to know. They would do it away from the household or what have you, right? So my question to you guys is, when you made the decision that this was going to be your love style, how did you break it to the family? How did you talk to the family? How did you guys present it?
We did not have a direct conversation with anybody because I don't give a fuck what nobody got to say.
Period.
Okay, I dig it.
So I don't have to ask permission to do a damn thing in my house.
Hello.
So, and I think the way that we came out with it, the way that we dropped that this was what we were doing was when we first started Rough Talk, we was on Facebook Live. And one of my oldest friends was one of our guests. And he asked on live in front of everybody, so what are y'all? And we looked at each other and looked at him and looked at the cameras like, well, we practice polyamory. And that was our out to the world. Like, this is what it is. Now, I come from a very Christian home. My parents have their own church now. They're ministers, their own church and all of that. But my 2021 parents,
Amen. Say that again.
they don't well,
His daddy don't pay nobody.
yeah,
no
his
attention.
daddy my dad don't
he
pay
be
no
in his
attention.
own world.
And then I think my mom,
she definitely knows
she knows, but she knows
her son.
Yes, yeah. So
She know her son has a mouth like her. So I feel like she's going to bring it up one day. I think that she's just trying to figure out how to say it because she knows her son.
Okay.
But I mean,
she's been on our podcast. One of episode of our podcast we had called "Fuck Them Kids." She was on that episode, and you know, she knows. Yeah, she knows our social media presence. She knows all of our handles. So it's not like we don't hide anything. It's just
she just has an act.
Yeah.
Okay, I dig it. So you just basically, we don't give a fuck. We want to do whatever it is that we want to do to be happy.
Amen to that.
Yeah, because we always say, you know, we gonna do what works best for you, and being poly is what works best for us.
And I think that, you know, besides the we don't give a fuck what anybody thinks, like, I think the one thing that we try to keep at the forefront of our mind is, even though we are grown, we're not asking anybody for permission, I feel like we do still have a responsibility that if you come to us correctly and you have questions, we can answer those questions. It's our responsibility to educate you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want you thinking that it's just a free-for-all and we out here, you know, with our daughter just being reckless. Like, if you have legit questions, we don't have an issue answering.
Yeah.
But if you come disrespectfully, you know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna get real disrespectful.
Exactly.
Your vibes won't catch my vibe.
Exactly.
And I promise you, my disrespect can get 1,000 times more than yours can. So,
That part.
So what about the kids? What about
She knows, honey. She
she has known since Kaylin's 13. I think about 7 or 8. I had that conversation with her. Just a random. I think it was like 2:00 in the morning. We was both up watching anime. I was like, let's go to the gas station and go and get some junk food to eat. So she rode with me, and I asked her, I was like, how do you feel about your mom having a boyfriend and your dad having a girlfriend? And she was just like,
Right.
I was like, do you think like there's anything wrong with it or anything like that? She was like, no, as long as you, I think she said, as long as you treat mom right or something like that. It was forever ago, so I don't remember what she said, but she's known. And you know, if I'm on duo with my partner or she's on FaceTime with somebody that she's talked to, it's not like we gotta Kaylin's in the room. We ain't gotta do all that. Like Kaylin will come and mess with me and she'll wave at whoever I'm on the phone with and then she'll go on about her day.
And I think that's important to be able to have that communication, because not only with it being, you know, something that you want to educate others on, why not start at home? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
To let your child know that, you know, there's several different love languages, no matter which way you see it.
Right.
And to be able to know that and then see you guys have such a healthy relationship is,
and that's the important part. That's the important part. That's what I always say. It's important for her to see how I treat her mom.
That's it.
Plus how I treat these other women, for her to be like, okay, there's nothing wrong with that. Like,
Exactly.
she knows how I feel about her mom,
exactly.
and I make that a point for her to see how I treat her.
Right.
But at the same time, when I'm on the phone with my with a partner or whoever it is, I make sure that if she's around, that she sees how I treat my other partners too. So it's not like nobody's a secret.
Right.
If Kaylin, that part, she sees
And then
healthy
she'll be able
relationship.
to pick a healthy relationship and
Exactly.
understand what that looks like.
Exactly.
And understand that it may not necessarily be monogamous,
Right.
Right.
But it can still be a happy, healthy relationship,
Right.
And that's what we are very big on, is regardless if she wants to be monogamous, polyamorous, polygamous, gay, whatever.
Right.
I never want my child to ever feel like she has to hide who she is or she can't be herself. I just,
Because that's what we all learn.
Right.
You're not allowed to do this. Don't do this. Don't say this. You're not, go upstairs. I don't want you to hear this conversation.
Right.
What? We're
Yeah.
teaching our kids to literally stay in a box. Like,
Exactly.
You're not allowed to do this.
And she damn sure ain't in no
So
box.
then at the end of the day, then they don't understand how to be themselves because
Right.
they've always been told you cannot. So.
right. And I mean, like, we don't do anything that's not kid appropriate around her. She may know who we're talking to, but she doesn't know. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
she doesn't know adult
details of the
things. Yeah,
conversation.
exactly.
Yeah.
So like I said, we pride ourselves on that. Like, I never want my child to feel like she can't come to me and say something to me because she thinks I'm going to disown her or whatever the case may be. Like, these kids are out here, you know, knowing what suicide is at 9-10 years old. Like,
Yes, they are.
yeah, life's too short for that.
Yeah, definitely. Shout out to you guys for doing that with your daughter. And I myself, you know, me and my wife go back and forth on it. My wife might say, well, she, you know, she's kind of young, but I want my daughters, all my daughters, to know that it's one of those things where you can still be in a healthy relationship,
Right.
that is not a monogamous relationship. It's all about how you're being treated. It's about
Right.
how you're being loved,
Right.
about how you're being respected. And I pour as much of that into her as I possibly can, not to really get on my soapbox, but I want my legacy to be black. I just do.
You gotta so
I say it out. Yeah, I say it all the time.
he does say that.
Yeah, I want my legacy to be black. Unfortunately, there's far fewer black men available for that than it is black women. So I want her to be open-minded enough
Yeah.
to be able to say, well, you know what? He's a great guy, right? For every 7 women who want to get married, there's only 1 man available, right? So there's 6 women left without anybody. So I want her to be woman enough and be able to tell him, hey, look, I'm okay with that, right? I understand the situation. I'm okay with that. I'm happy to bring her in if that's what it is we want
Right,
to do.
right.
So I want her to have the ability to be able to say that. Of course, I get a lot. But I want her to be okay. I don't want her to be devastated. Daddy, he cheated on me. Well, first problem is did you ask him in the beginning, you know, was he monogamous?
Right.
You know, don't put a man in a box or a woman in a box for that matter in the beginning of the relationship. Ask the question:
Have those
Are
meaningful
you
conversations.
monogamous? If you're not, very interesting. But if you're not monogamous, it's okay.
Right.
We can have that conversation. So that's what I want for her.
And that's so interesting that you say that about your legacy being black, because I'm, like I said, I don't want her to hide anything. So whether she likes little Asian boys, she's into K-pop and all of that. So she's going through this Asian boy phase. And for me, I don't care if it's a boy, it's a girl, whatever. I want you to feel comfortable coming home to your parents with whatever you got going on. And I respect what Eddie says, because he's the same way. Like, I want her to date somebody black.
Right.
I respect that, but I'm not going to not be open to it either. You know what I'm saying? So I get it.
I'm a supporter. That don't
get
mean
it,
I gotta
yeah.
like that motherfucker.
So, yeah.
Exactly.
I'm gonna support you, but we ain't going fishing. We ain't. He better not touch my damn grill or no shit
Oh
like
my
that when he come over.
Like
Right.
you said, you know what I mean? Y'all want your legacy to continue to be black, you know? And he always harps about how, you know, there's such less black men in
Yeah.
I mean, black women, black men in the world.
Right.
And how they're always, you know, putting us in jail, killing us, you know, killing them. And at the end of the day, you want to see us build back up. You want
Right.
our black community, our black population to build back up, so that maybe one day there is enough black men out there for each black woman. But
Right,
at
right.
the same time, you know, right now that's kind of the stronghold that we have.
That's not the situation.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So the next show that we have, we're going to bring on 2 very highly educated black women who can't find a man simply because maybe they've priced themselves out of the marriage zone, shall we say? Because one's a doctor, one is double master. You know what I'm saying? For whatever reason in our community, it seems like once a woman gets so much education,
Right.
you know, she's hard to deal with. You know, she's too this, she's too that. You know, she's not submissive enough.
But the sad part is
Right.
there's just not enough, like you said, not enough men that can handle a woman like her.
Right. So with all that we're pouring into my daughter, right? I just want her to feel free enough to say, I'm going to marry, and it's okay for me to marry. And if there's another woman involved in this particular relationship, it's okay. That's what I want for her. Once again, because I'm trying to get them black. Is what it is. It's ultimately what it is I'm trying to do, right?
Yeah.
But we were getting close to wrapping it up, but I do have a couple more questions that I want to ask you guys. One question that I want to ask you guys is, what about love? It's a love style. What happens the moment? How do you guys handle it the moment that one of you just falls head over heels in love with somebody outside of this union? How do you handle that? So in a polygynous relationship, bring her in or bring him in, or her in a polygynous relationship. How will you guys navigate that?
I mean, they never bothered me. Like, I think it's cute.
It's
But
cute.
in the same sentence, like, what if, I mean, he says, I want to build a long-lasting relationship with this woman. So now you guys have your 10 years in, but now he wants to bring this other woman in for maybe another 10 years. How does that look to you guys?
I mean, probably won't be any moving in. And I think that for me, in the back of my mind, when he does deal with single women, it sounds harsh to say, but I don't really expect it to be long term, because you have to understand, we as women, like, she sees what he does for me being my husband, she's gonna want that for herself. You know what I'm saying? So, not like I'm not being negative, but it's the reality. What woman isn't going to want
her own
Eddie,
attention,
her own Eddie, you know what I'm saying? Especially if it's a long distance thing. At some point, whether it's me dealing with another man or him dealing with another woman, at some point those other people may want what we have. Like, I've gotten that quite a few times. Like, it's cool, I love you, we're cool, we have a great relationship, but I want what you and Eddie have. You know what I mean? So even though he may say that he loves this other person, like, I know that his love for me is always going to look different. It doesn't matter if he is with that person for 10 years. At their 10 years, we're going to be together 20 years. You know what I'm saying? So it's never a situation where I'm like, oh my God, he loves this person. He's going to go buy her a ring and take her to Florida and buy her a house and buy her a dog. And you know what I mean? Like, what we have, nobody will ever be able to match that, because nobody has been with him when he was getting out the military, and then, you know what I'm saying, when he didn't have shit after his divorce.
You guys have your own history.
And nobody else coming in will ever be able to match that history, if that makes sense.
So Florida, the only place we can go?
I mean,
Of all the places to go,
I'm
just
saying,
Florida?
like, it wasn't no point in naming all the places we've been. I'm just
And then we
saying,
can't catch a flight and go to the Dominican Republic or no shit like
y'all better
that?
go to damn Savannah.
We gotta stay in the state.
You gotta stay in the state.
Okay.
I'm just kidding.
But I get it. I completely understand. I mean, the way that you say, the other woman can't have exactly what you have, and she has what she wants. But it is possible for you to be comfortable with him having this 10-year relationship, because you know the history and you guys are very
Right.
And there's nothing that can compare to what you are.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's no disrespect to anybody else. It's just the reality of it. Like, you can't live. Nobody can relive with him what I've
already done.
Right. So they're gonna have their own shit.
Down to the building of what you already have.
Right. Exactly.
The polygamy. Polyamory of it all.
Right.
They can't even go back that far.
Yeah, because we literally started with nothing when I got out the military, and she moved to Columbus to be with me and all of that. I didn't have anything. Like, the furniture that we had in our house was borrowed.
That was your
excuse
house?
me, in my apartment.
Don't give me that
in
shit.
my apartment was borrowed, and then I had the cheap presswood bed frame. You know what I'm saying? All of that shit. So in the beginning, we had nothing.
So y'all build it all together.
To now,
exactly.
We bought our first home. We're homeowners before my parents were. You know what I'm saying? Everything in our home, nothing is on credit. Ain't shit from errands. Ain't shit from rent a centers. You know what I'm saying? Everything in our house, everything. And I say this all the time. Like, when I walk outside, and we may just be outside bullshitting, I'm like, y'all, these are our trees. You know what I'm saying? These are our trees. This is our land. This is our shit. You know what I'm saying? And nobody else can come in and expect to add in on the hour. Like, cause no, this is not yours. And I'm not the type to even, I'm not gonna sell anybody a dream.
Right.
Like, you look at my social media, all you gonna see is her.
Right.
That's it. You may see other women sprinkled in there, but the long lovey-dovey captions and all of that. You make me sick, but I love you anyway, and blah 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 blah. Like it's gonna be her. And that's why I'm like, I don't want another wife, because I don't want anybody else to feel entitled to that. I don't want to feel like, okay, I'm doing this for Kiera and I gotta do this for. I want this shit to be genuine.
There you go.
I want it to be genuine, and then we in this age of social media where if it ain't on social media, it ain't real. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not in the business of fronting for nobody.
Right.
All right, so we got a couple minutes left. My question to you is, and this is one of the things that people are going to want to know. What are the cons to your love style?
I think the con, I mean, I can only speak from our experience, but one of our biggest cons, I think, is the fact that we've been able to communicate the way that we have been.
Cons, baby. That's a bad thing.
That's a pro.
I'm sorry.
Take that as a pro.
Okay, one of
That's
the
a pro.
cons. I'm
What's a
sorry.
con? That's
So
okay.
one of the cons, I don't know. I don't think we really have any.
I think, well, speak for yourself. I think one of the cons for me is having to deal with my insecurity when she's in that NRE stage. When she is enthralled in somebody else, and I'm not getting the same amount of time that I was getting before, and I'm seeing her sitting at her phone, smiling at her phone and shit. She on FaceTime she on FaceTime all hours of the night and shit, you know, especially when I don't have anything going on. Because then I feel like, damn, what this nigga got that I ain't got? That she on the phone with this nigga all day long. You know what I'm saying? And that's one of the cons for me.
That
But
is a good one, yeah.
as we've gone through this, and again, as we've evolved in love, I've learned that it's okay for me to have those insecurities. It's about what I do with them that really matters. Like, the insecurity don't mean shit. I can have those feelings all day long, but once I start acting negatively on those insecurities, and I have dozens of times, more times than I can count, and that's not the important part right now. The important part is that I've learned and I've moved on, and I'm able to go through that self dialogue of, okay, dog, this shit is irrational as fuck. Like, ain't no need for you to even feel like this. Okay, that's over with. You know what I'm saying? On to the next one.
And she's still here, and I'm assuming her love hasn't changed. You know,
You better not. I got her name tattooed on my hand.
Yeah, that part.
So it better not go nowhere.
So unwarranted insecurities. So I dig it. So you have no cons. This is perfect.
That is a good one. I didn't think about
That is
that.
the one and only con.
Not the one. I mean, well, I was thinking about just as far as he and I are concerned. But as far as like dealing with other people, for me being a female, one of my biggest cons is niggas thinking that you just always down to fuck. I hate, like, that is really, like, I'm dealing with that right now, like a lot of internal feelings and shit. Like, it for me, it kind of makes me feel like, damn, like, that's all that I have to offer. Like, you done got my phone number, we done talked a little bit, and like, you just want to throw dick pics at me. So yeah, I hate that shit.
Because now they know that she has a significant other. So the only thing she could want from me.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
And they think, and they see how I am with him. I'm all lovey-dovey towards him, and like, that's my bestie. So they think, well, shit, I can't compare to this nigga. So what else could she want? She happily married.
Exactly.
All I can give her is some dick.
Gotcha.
And it's like, nah, like, there's so much more to it than that.
That's a good one.
All right, y'all. So we've reached 9 o'clock. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna wrap this thing up, man. It's been fantastic talking to you guys.
Well,
I knew
thank you.
this is what it was gonna be. Like I said, we've been anxiously waiting on the sidelines to just really have a conversation with you guys, and it's been amazing. It's been everything that we thought it would be.
Appreciate y'all for reaching out.
Yeah,
for real.
we love
For
doing
real.
interviews.
We
I love
do.
it.
Yeah,
We do.
Yeah,
We'll definitely stay in contact. That's
Oh yeah, for sure.
sure.
Y'all in
Definitely
Atlanta?
have
Hell yeah.
A network, a TV network, and I can see
a reality show.
It's
I
so
can
funny
see
you
a
say that.
reality show right
I
now.
definitely can see it.
I can see that. I can
It's
see
so
that.
funny you
That's gonna
say
be
that.
dope. That's gonna be dope. I see it. But anyway, let's wrap it up. We're gonna wrap it up. Thank you guys for coming out for another episode of She Say He Say ATL. Remember, you can definitely check us out on YouTube. You can catch us on Anchor, catch us on Spotify for the audio versions of these particular shows. But this show, check this one out on YouTube. This one's pretty dope, man. You got to see facial
Thank
expressions.
you.
You got to see it all.
Right.
All right.
The
All right.
drop
So
jaws, calls.
Exactly.
For sure.
Exactly. So once again, thanks to the Ruffs for coming out and hanging out with us tonight.
Man,
Appreciate
thank y'all for
y'all.
having us. Make sure
Yeah.
y'all follow us at Rough Talk 247 on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Everywhere.
Yeah.
It's Rough Talk 247.
There it
Oh,
is.
TikTok too.
Oh God,
We ain't really
Still
on there
learning
for
that.
real, but yeah.
Yeah, we are too. All right, y'all. Good night.
Peace.
All right. All right, man. But yeah.